Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am so excited to show you guys today's design. I am in love. These are so trendy right now and I'm usually so late to the trends and I'm likely mega late now anyways, but I'm so happy that I'm still trying it because usually when I'm a little bit too late, I would just let it go and not even try, but these are just something else. They're not usually the kind of vibe or look I would go for, but I'm so happy how they came out. I don't really know how I'm gonna name this set. It's kind of giving tropical vibes, but not like full on. I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure it out. So I showed you guys a couple of the gel polishes that I'm going to be using today. So quite a lot are from Madam Glam. We are going to use some cuts later on as well, and everything is done by hand. No sort of stamping or anything like that. So on the, well, 3 of those fingers are the nude shade. Then 2 are going to be this, I think, is it called Aurora kind of look? I'm not always the best with names, but usually you would do this with like a, what are those machines called? Airbrush machines? But I don't have one. So I'm going to show you a method to kind of just figure it out along the way. So my idea of it was to use a sponge and just kind of do like the whole ombre look, but obviously, you know, having the lighter shade in the middle and going around it with the darker shade. So at first I did it just one layer straight from the sponge, and I attempted a couple layers of me applying the gel polish straight to the nail and then giving it a couple sponge taps, but that took about maybe 4 to 5 cures in between each layer and everything. So I feel like I should have done an extra 1 or 2, maybe more there, but it's not the worst, especially as later on we are gonna kind of cover it up in some areas, so I don't have to worry about it too much. It's not the main focus of today's design. Then on 2 nails, we are going to do French tips. One is on the index, and then one is on the on the pinky. So I'm just using the Bold White from Madam Glam. As you saw by the bottle, so yucky. It's because I use it all the time, and I end up by accident leaking it all over the place. But it's the best white you can ever use for French tips. As I was doing the French tip on this nail here, I actually started to notice that I'm doing it all wrong. I just was not liking the smile line, and I kept trying to fix it to the point where I actually overfixed it, and I just had to remove it and retry. Sometimes it just has to go that way. And that was how it went with this nail. So in a moment it's going to cut, and I think we're going to come back to me, just giving it a little colour at the bottom just to give the French tip look. But I've redone the smile line quickly off camera. So that's that one. Then on the pinky we're going to repeat. I think I do show the whole process of the pinky. I found the pinky a little bit easier for some reason. I feel like there's just some good days and there's some bad days. And today was kind of like a bit of a bad day. I filmed 2 videos today. It's the weekend, so I'm trying to get some content out. And I was just having a bad day with everything. Stamping wasn't going great, French tips weren't going great, like it was just a bad day. But I'm trying to power through it. I may even do a 3rd video. I don't know, weekends are always a bit rough. I'm trying to relax but also do some nail content, so it's all over the place, but trying my best. Right, so pinkies, French tips are done. Now onto the ring finger. Now I'm not always the best at explaining what I'm doing, but I'm doing some sort of like squiggly lines. I did some research. I tried to go on Pinterest, tried to go on Instagram. These are so in right now that they're literally everywhere. It's not even hard to find. And once you do find one, like it's just, the rest are just flooding in, especially on Pinterest. So I was kind of trying to go through all of them and trying to pick out my kind of vibe, what I like out of them, kind of picking out, you know, kind of making it a me set. So this was one of the designs often seen on those kind of designs, and I thought it was quite nice. I quite liked it, so I'm giving it a try here. And it's kind of like a squiggly line in a way. Really hard to explain. I hope you can just kind of get what I'm doing by just watching on this part. And you can make this as thick as you want, as thin as you want. You can even flip the kind of like that circle bit that we're trying to leave at the bottom, even at the top, whatever you kind of feel most comfortable with. Another thing that was just not playing ball today was this animal print that I'm trying to do by hand. And this is probably why I always try to stamp it, because it's just so much easier and you're guaranteed that it's going to come out beautifully every time. But this one in particular is very easy to do. But the reason why it wasn't coming out too great was because the black that I'm using is from Nail Nails and it's a bit sheer and it's just not as pigmented as I would have liked it to be. So at the start it was just kind of, just sheer really. So I wasn't the biggest fan of it. But it's doing a job. I couldn't find my Madam Glam one, such a bummer, but it just did the job. I just had to pick up a bit more of it on the brush to just do like a bit more of a thicker blob of it, which is just not ideal, but it had to work. So you're doing that on both the pinky and the other French tip nail as well. So now on the thumb, I'm doing a border, like a white border all around. I'm trying to keep it kind of thin on the right and left hand side of it, but kind of a little bit more thicker on the top and the bottom part, if you notice in a moment. But you're essentially just kind of following the frame or the shape of the nail all around, and then just colouring in the outside with the white. This is also a really nice design because you could switch out the colours and kind of make it a bit more, you know, suited to whatever outfit you want to wear, or whatever your kind of clients are wanting really colour-wise. And it's also a bit, again, it's just kind of out of my comfort zone because it's not usually the patterns and everything I'd go for. It's also just kind of like random things happening on each nail, but it's also kind of working with one another at the same time. I'm one of these people that if I'm doing like a strawberry nail, it kind of has to strictly follow a strawberry theme all around. But like today's set is not like that. We've got some animal print, we've got some squiggly lines, we've got like a ombre thing going on, like all sorts of going on basically. So sorry, I feel like that's just kind of out of focus, but I'm just going to cut that in the lamp that goes, and we will do another coat off camera. Now on the middle nail we are doing a French tip, so I'm starting off with the dark shade of pink, and I'm going to do the smile line as usual. I feel like I had the wrong settings on today. It's kind of like blurry when I'm a bit too close. Gonna have to readjust that next time I film. I'm really glad I kind of edit and voice as I film, because imagine if I just sat here and filmed 4 videos and it was all out of focus, blurry, would not be great. So I'm going to colour that in. Off that will go in the lamp, and then I'm not too sure what happened with the footage, but it's a little bit choppy and not so clear. I think I must have forgotten I was filming or something. And apparently I just stopped looking at the camera, stopped looking where I'm at with it. But the idea here is that I tried to create an ombre, so with another chunk of a sponge, this is like a kitchen sponge, I chopped up into little chunks. You can get like actual nail sponges, but I'm trying to put some light pink at the bottom and just ombre upwards. Usually I would also do this with just an ombre brush, but because the nails are so tiny, I thought this might be a better way to do it and create that ombre. Don't know, but that's what we did there, and then I'm going to pop that into the lamp for a cure. Now that that's done, it's time to bling this set out very gently. So we got some gold details, and we have some pearls, and we will have some flowers. So ideally with today's set, you guys have probably seen this already, but there's these flowers you can make with this like 3D like moldable gel, I guess. I don't have that, unfortunately. Very annoying. I do have like 3D carving gels, but they're very harsh, strong colours, and I notice everyone's using these like see-through ones that you can colour in, or they have these like jelly looking ones. I don't have that, unfortunately, so I had to kind of improvise, which you'll see how I did in a moment. But on the thumb, I've got a pearl on both the top and the bottom part, and then I'm going to do 3 gold caviar beads on either side. So that's 4 together, and then that will go into the lamp for a cure. And the rhinestone glue gel that I'm using today is from Macart, and I'm going to use some random tools, mainly like a dotting tool, to kind of align and readjust anything before I pop into the lamp. Then on the middle nail, we are going to put a gold cross. Here it is. I'm going to try and adjust to make it as straight as I possibly can, and then off that goes. Then I think I did, the pinky. They're just the nice and quick and easy ones. I've got this gold star looking thing. That will go in the center as well there. Off that will go into the lamp. Then on that squiggly, the ring finger nail, we're going to do something very similar as we did on the thumb, but just 1 set, not 2. And we're going to do it there on the left-hand side of the white line. So there goes the pearl, and then 3 caviar beads on both the top and the bottom. That will then go into the lamp for a cure. So basically every single nail has like some sort of like rhinestone-y stuff going on. The also nice little bits with this is that if you're not really into rhinestones, but you do kind of like that look, this is a really nice option because it's quite minimal, still gives that really nice look, but it's also doesn't like stick out as much, especially the cross or the star that I've placed down earlier. It really sticks down nicely and not too, it's not very catchy. Now onto the flowers. So I don't have anything. Off goes a flower charm. A pretty large one, a little bit kind of different looking one. I feel like we don't all kind of have one like that. I was so glad when I found this one when I was going through my gems. But to make it look, how it's supposed to, I'm going in with that darker pink, and I'm just going to do a couple strokes on the petals on each one, just to create that look that I'm going for, that everyone has, to make it more tropical, make it a bit more holiday-like. And then I'll pop that into the lamp for a cure. And then to finish it off and make it look cutesy, I'm going to place some some of that gold caviar bead in the center. Now the center is quite large, so I think I've placed about 4 caviar beads I think in there, which I will show you now. So I'm going to put a blob of rose-tinted glue gel in there, and then about 4, maybe 5, depends on your flower really, of those caviar beads in there, just to fill it all up and make it look cutesy. And I'm so glad I did that. Like, I'm so glad. Otherwise, I did kind of sit there for a second thinking, what else could I do as an alternative? But oh, I'm just so glad I did it. Now, at this stage, we're almost done, but not quite. We are going to top coat it all with a glossy top coat. And I am going over everything on top of these nails. I'm not going around. I'm trying to seal it in as much as I can, especially for trying to avoid any kind of rough edges so that it doesn't get caught. And also just to really cement all the caviar beads and everything that I've just placed down. I really want that in there and not budging. So I will be top coating everything, even the flower. I'm trying to really make sure that they stay on and do not fall off. So that's going to happen. Now that's the McCart's glossy top coat. I get it in like, it's like a double pack. You get like a base coat and a top coat. I get it on Amazon, really nice, comes to your door, love it. I think I mentioned in my last video, but it's quite nice, especially when I'm kind of low and I need it ASAP. It just does the job and it does it well. So there's that. That'll go into the lamp. So last part of the video is those 3D lines. Now I'm going to use the McCart's Rose-Tinted Glue Gel, and I'm going to do that with my brush. I just dipped it in there and I just did the lines. So what you're seeing on camera, I actually did end up removing and reapplying because it just wasn't center, and I didn't kind of notice until I finished. So in a moment you'll notice when I flip it, it's just not center. Even now it doesn't look center. So before popping it into the lab, I did notice, I did fix it. And that'll be that. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I would love to see you all in my next video. Bye guys.